Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk with Alicia. And if this is your first time here, welcome. I am Alicia, and this is a space where we share real conversations about life, healing, relationships, emotions, the things we don't always talk about, and just trying to figure life out together. So today, we're going to talk about something that I think a lot of us struggle with, whether we admit it or not. And that is caring too much about what people think. The title of today's episode is Stop Caring, Start Living, Let Go of What People Think. And listen, I am not going to sit here and pretend I have always had this figured out because I haven't. Actually, for a long time, I cared way too much about what people thought about me. Like, way too much. I needed approval. I wanted people to agree with my decisions. I wanted people to think I was doing the right thing. And sometimes, before I did something, I would already be thinking, what are people going to say? What are they going to think? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to think I am making a mistake? And honestly, that's exhausting. I remember a time in my life when I felt like I needed approval for almost everything I did. I couldn't just make a decision and feel confident about it. I needed somebody to tell me, yes, that's a good idea, or yes, you should do that. And if someone disagreed with me, sometimes I would start questioning myself. I'd be like, I would be like, wait, maybe they are right. Even when deep down I knew that what I wanted. And that's the thing about constantly seeking approval. You start losing your own voice. You become so focused on everybody else's opinion that you stop listening to your own. And I think that's something that happened to a lot of us without even realizing it. We don't wake up one morning and say, today I am going to stop trusting myself. It happens slowly. You ask someone what they think, then you ask somebody else, then you worry about what your family thinks, then you worry about what your friends think, then you worry about what people on social media think, and before you know it, you are living your life based on everybody else's expectations. And where are you in all of that? I think sometimes we confuse being a good person with making everybody happy, but those are not the same. You can be a good person and somebody can still misunderstand you. You can have a good heart and somebody can still dislike you. You can make the best decision for your life and somebody can still disagree with you. And that's okay. That's one of the hardest lessons I have had to learn. Not everybody has to understand you, and they definitely don't all have to agree with you. Because here's the truth, you're never going to make everybody happy. You could literally do everything right, and someone will still find something wrong with it. And if you are constantly trying to avoid disappointing people, you eventually going to disappoint yourself. And I had to really sit with that because I started realizing how much of my life I was spending trying to make other people comfortable. How many decisions I was making because I genuinely wanted them. And how many was I making because I was afraid of what somebody else would say? That's a serious question. And let's talk about judgment because sometimes we are not even afraid of making the wrong decisions. We are afraid of people seeing us make the wrong decision. We don't want people say, I told you so. We don't want people to laugh. We don't want people to criticize us. We don't want people to think we are foolish. So we stay stuck. We don't apply for the job. We don't start the business. We don't start the YouTube channel. We don't post the video. We don't relieve the relationship. We don't try something new. Why? Because we're thinking about what somebody else might say. And meanwhile, that person is probably living their own life and not thinking about us nearly as much as we think they are. And this is so true. Persons are living, have their own life to live. They are not thinking about us as much as we think they are. That's something I had to learn too. Sometimes we give people the opinion way too much power. We allow somebody else who isn't paying our bills, who isn't living our life, who doesn't know our story to determine how we feel about ourselves. Why? I remember realizing that I was waiting for permission to make decisions, permission to be myself, permission to do what I wanted. And I had to ask myself, who am I waiting for? Because at the end of the day, it's my life. And I am the one who has to live it, not the person giving me advice, not the person criticizing me, not the person judging me. Now, does that mean we shouldn't listen to anybody? Absolutely not. I think good advice is valuable. I think we need people who love us enough to tell us the truth. But there's a difference between listening to advice and handing someone else control of your life. You can listen, you can consider it, you can say thank you, and then you can make your own decision. And that's maturity. Another thing I have learned is you don't have to explain every decision you make. Oh my goodness. This one took me a while. Sometimes we feel like we have to give people a whole paragraph explaining why we are doing something. That was me. I had to explain every single thing in details. The reason why we said no, why we change our mind, why we are taking a different path, why we are not doing what everybody else is doing. But sometimes no is enough. The word no is enough. You don't have to do any long explanation. This is what I have you can you this is what I have decided. That is enough. You owe you don't owe everybody a full explanation of your life. And honestly, the more comfortable you become with yourself, the less you feel the need to explain yourself. Now, let me be honest. Learning not to care what people think does not happen overnight. I still have my moments where I catch myself thinking, What are people going to say? And one of those moments was when I was going to start this podcast. That came to my mind. What would people think about your voice? What would people think about the topics? There was a lot of what would people think. So I do catch myself thinking like that at times because I am human. But guess what? I stop myself and I ask, is their opinion actually going to change my life? And sometimes the answer is no. And if the answer is no, why am I allowing it to steal my peace? That's the question. Why are we allowing somebody else's opinion to rob us of peace? Why are we allowing a comment on Facebook, a conversation, a look, criticism to take our whole day? We have to learn how to let things pass through us. Not everything deserves a response. Not everything deserves an explanation. Not everything deserves our energy. And here's the part I really want you to think about. Your life is happening right now, not when everybody approves of you, not when everybody understands you, not when everybody agrees with your choices, but right now. And you don't get this moment back. That's why I call this episode Stop Caring, Start Living. Because there comes a point where you have to stop living your life for an audience. You have to stop performing. Stop trying to look perfect. Stop trying to sound perfect. Stop trying to make everybody happy and just live. Wear what you like. Start that business. Take that trip. Create the content. Use your voice. If it's a case where you're not somebody who's comfortable with recording your face, video in your face, use your voice. And if you're comfortable doing both, do both. You don't be afraid to go back to school if you want to. Don't be afraid to create the contents that you want to. As I was saying, whether it's a content with showing your face or using your voice, go ahead and make the content. Change a career if you want to change that career. Go ahead, make changes in your life. Say no when you want to, you have to say no, and say yes if you have to say yes. Leave what no longer serves you. Try again. Make the mistakes. Learn. Grow. And don't let the fear of somebody else's opinion stop you from becoming who you are supposed to be. I have learned that as I get older, I care less about being understood by everybody. And honestly, there's freedom in that. Because when you stop needing everybody to approve of you, you become more comfortable being yourself. And there is something beautiful about that. You don't have to prove that you are a good person. You don't have to convince everybody that your intentions are good. People will see you how they choose to see you, and that's okay. And your job is to know who you are. So I want you to ask yourself something today and be honest. Whose opinion are you allowing to control your life? Is it your families, your friends, your co-workers, someone from your past, people on social media? Maybe it's not even one person. Maybe it's a society. It's a society. Maybe you feel like you have to be a certain age, look a certain way, have a certain amount of money, be married by a certain time, have children, have a successful career, and you're comparing yourself to everybody around you, please stop. Your journey is yours. You don't have to live somebody else's timeline. I want you to remember this. People are going to have opinions whether you succeed or fail. So you might as well live. Because if people are going to talk anyway, let them talk while you're living your life. Let them talk while you're growing. Let them talk while you're healing. Let them talk while you're building. Let them talk while you're becoming. You don't have to shrink yourself to make someone else comfortable. And you don't have to stop being kind. You don't have to become arrogant. You don't have to stop caring about people. Just stop allowing others people's opinions to become the steering wheel of your life. You can care without carrying everything. You can love people without living for their approval. And you can respect people's opinion without allowing those opinions to define you. So my friends, today I want you to give yourself permission. Permission to be yourself. Permission to make your own decisions. Permission to change. Permission to grow. Permission to disappoint people when necessary. And most importantly, permission to live. Because you only get one life. And I don't want you to spend it worrying about what everybody else thinks. I want you to spend it becoming the person you were meant to be. Thank you so much for spending these moments with me on Let's Talk with Alicia. If this conversation spoke to you, please like this episode, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need to hear this today. And I would love to know in the comments, what is one thing you have decided to stop caring about so you can start living? Until next time, take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. Protect your peace. And remember, you don't need everybody's approval to live a life that makes you happy. I'll see you in the next episode of Let's Talk with Alicia. Thank you for joining me today.